Hey, good morning. My name is Jeff Lynette. Welcome to Learn Now Home Edition. We really hope you enjoyed the first activity, and we hope you built your critical and creative thinking skills by creating cartoon characters out of those shapes. We'd love to see what you did, and we're glad you came back for another activity. We want to focus on the idea that everything we're trying to do is to give you an opportunity to become better critical and creative thinkers. And every one of these videos is going to focus on three important things. Number one, stretching our brains. Number two, thinking deeply. And number three, and most importantly, having a lot of fun. But all the things we talk about are going to be things that we can use today, tomorrow, or even in the future. So I'm wondering, have you ever tried to plan something, maybe at home or even at school, maybe a writing project or something else, where you had an idea, but you kind of got stuck and it was hard to fill out the details? Or maybe, have you ever been talking to some of your friends where you're talking about one thing and all of a sudden it leads to something else and then it connects to something else, but by the time you get over here, you kind of forgot what you were talking about in the first place? Well, what we're going to do today is really focus on something that can help you organize your thinking in a fun new way. We're going to explore the idea of something called a mind map. A mind map's a diagram that's used to organize information in a visual way so you can see it. It helps you remember it, and it helps us take our ideas from a big concept down to little tiny details. But it also lets us see how some big concepts fit together into one bigger concept. So it can really help us out in a lot of different ways, especially if we're trying to share information or to learn new things or to plan. So if we're going to make a mind map, let's take a look at the skills we'll use and the materials we might need. I want you to think about whenever you're in school, you get information from your teacher and from books and from watching videos and from using databases. But the source of information today is going to be one that's really important to every one of us because it's going to be our mind and our memories and our creativity. What ideas are here? How can we reflect on our lives? That's a source of information too. And also, we're going to really use the skill of sharing your thinking and ideas and your feelings in a visual way. So those are the two skills we're going to focus on. The materials that we need to be successful are really easy. It's the same materials we're going to use for a lot of these videos. You need something to write with, a pencil or a pen, crayons if you have them, great, and you need a piece of paper. That's it. Now, go get your materials, and we'll be right back to show you what to do. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with just a blank piece of paper. Now, I'm using my iPad so that I can show you this very easily and record it, but I want you to think about your mind map. And anytime you do this, whether it's this time or in the future, we're always going to start with the main idea in the middle. And the main idea that I'd like you to think about for this mind map is this: how can you make a mind map that captures your life during social distancing? What have you been doing? How have you been spending your time? So that's going to be your challenge. And when we start our mind map, the main idea goes in the middle. And then what we want to do is have all the different subjects from big ideas to small ideas go out. So I'm going to start by adding some areas for big buckets of ideas. Social distancing is the main idea, but what are the smaller ideas that go underneath that? And it could be a lot of different things. Maybe it's the food you're eating, or the shows you're watching, or what you're doing when you go outside. What is it for you? For my main ideas, I focused on three big buckets. Number one, my fun interests and hobbies. What keeps me busy? Number two, my work and what am I doing to still help kids at home? And number three, people who I connect with. Now, whenever we're in regular life without social distancing, I interact with a lot of people. But since we've been in our houses, I've really talked to a smaller amount of people. So I'm just going to focus on those people during this activity. And I want to think about different groups of people. So what I'm going to do is add in, we go from big idea of social distancing to smaller idea of my people, and then that spreads out into even smaller ideas. Who are the family that I live with? Family that I don't live with? My other friends, and even friends that I've made since I've worked at Fairfax County Public Schools. But I'm just focusing on people who I've been talking to every day through social distancing. But when we make a mind map, ladies and gentlemen, we don't just want to write the big buckets, we want to get in the weeds with details. So it's easy for me to say, people I live with, but who are those people? Well, that's my wife, Corey, and my son, Cade. And whenever I think about my friends from work that I've been working with every day, I'm thinking about the people that I talk to on the phone and that I talk to in meetings and that we're really planning things with. So these are those people. I'm going to add details as we go. And that's what I want you to do as you build your mind map. Start with the big ideas and then get down to the smaller buckets and then the details that go in each of those buckets. So this is really what your mind map can start to look like. You'll notice that whenever I say my fun, interest, and hobbies, I go from artwork to music, to video games, to TV and movies. But what I can also do to make my mind map even better is make it visually interesting. You can just use words, but how much more interesting is it if I also use pictures, if I use ideas and concepts, so that this goes from the big idea to the center to the smaller ideas, and that people could look at this and remember things, and it can also help me remember things. So let's take a look here at family who I don't live with. I've been communicating with my brothers and my dad with technology. We've been using Zoom and talking to each other and really having a nice time. So I put that in a computer because that's symbolizing how I talk to them. I've also been talking to my wife's family a lot, and I've been doing that on the phone. So I wanted to symbolize that in different ways. But then I really want to think about people who I'm spending time with every day, my wife and my son. I even made little pictures of what we've been doing. And my friends from home or from various points in my life whenever I've lived in other places. I use diagrams to show where they are and with little icons to represent them. And even thinking about my friends that I work with. I made little pictures of them because it makes me think about them, and it could help you remember who they are or remember details. So the more details you can add to your mind map, the better it will be. It's one thing for me to just say games, but if someone looks at this now, they can see specifically the different kinds of games that I've been playing. I've been playing chess and board games, and my wife and I found some really fun virtual escape rooms that we like doing, and we play cards. And you can see that a lot more about me by showing pictures than just by showing the words. So there's a lot of differences there. So ladies and gentlemen, when you start your mind map, I want you to do yours the same way. I want you to start with the center. I want you to add your big buckets. I want you to separate your big buckets down to smaller ideas. And then I want you to take those smaller ideas and really add details. And then you can go in and think about how you can add pictures to make it look fantastic. Now, regardless of how you do this, I just want you to focus on the theme. How can you make a mind map that captures your life during social distancing? So before you get started on your own, it can be a great idea to look to see what other people have done when they've made mind maps. If you get online, you can research mind maps and find a lot of different samples from a lot of different people. When you're looking at them, try to look at the pictures, the symbols, the words, and the things that people have done to make them really interesting and also really easy to understand. What do you like best? How could they be better? Those are questions that you should ask yourselves anytime you're looking at something new. Once you get some ideas, go get started on your own. So I hope you really enjoyed learning about mind maps and seeing some samples and most importantly, making your own. I think your mind map could be like a journal or a diary of the important things that you've done. And I want to go back to the skill that we talked about earlier, the idea of sharing your thinking, ideas, and feelings in a visual way. Does your mind map do that? How could you use those same skills in the future? Now, anytime we do great work, we should be sharing it with people. So can you share yours with your mom or your dad, your brothers and sisters? Maybe take a picture and send it to your teacher, or I'd love to see your work. So get your parents to take a picture, and if they have a Twitter account, you can send it to me at Jeff Lonette on Twitter. The AAP office would also love to see some fantastic mind maps, so consider tagging them too. It's FCPS AAP. We'd love to see your work, and we really hope you enjoyed this video. And next time you're planning something, next time you're trying to capture information or ideas and really think about the big ideas down to the small details, consider making a mind map. It can really help. We hope this video helps you go the distance with your learning, even while you're at home. Have a great day.